So I work at the strategic operational headquarters of NATO. And my job is basically to integrate the civil factor into both our planning and our operations, right? And this is obviously becoming fundamental in the new context we're in, where we're slowly moving from out-of-area operations to collective defense. And together with that, we're also implementing our sort of new approach to warfighting, which is the multi-domain operations. And in both those areas, we absolutely need to include the civil environment, just as Ukraine is demonstrating it right now. It's no longer a military alone effort. It has to be a whole of government, whole of society approach, be it public, private, industry, population, and that's what we're trying to bring into our planning and operations. That's absolutely fundamental. You're sort of the role models in that area of integrating both civil and military in your total defense concept, right? Which has become almost a buzzword in our domain. And you are, I think, far ahead because you've been working on your own and with Sweden in the past 50 years. And now you're building that together with the Nordic countries. And I think it's really a very good example to follow in terms of integrating civil and military. And this forum, I think, is a brilliant example of it, where you have on the stage both the military side sort of talking about the requirement, what we need, and then all that sort of ecosystem, fast-moving innovation environment that is supporting all of this. So it's absolutely a brilliant event, really. And I think this sort of ecosystem is really helping the whole system move forward, definitely.
I think this forum is extremely important for Ukraine in particular, because when Russia attacked Ukraine first in 2014, now in 2022, they had a lot of weapons and they had a lot of people also, manpower that they didn't care about. And we didn't have the same. So our way to respond to that aggression were drones. And in these last 4 years, we became the Silicon Valley of the drones. I call Ukraine is lab on fire when it comes to produce defense technologies, mil tech, And these are the main systems we have to counteract the aggressor. And it looks like we are doing pretty good, given that today Putin doesn't control more than 1% more of the territory than he controlled in 2022. We have here a Ukrainian delegation with a lot of different systems. Really, I would say mind-blowing, something that Sweden needs, Europe needs. We've learned at this war that security and defense cannot be outsourced. We cannot rely on some of the partners that we could have before. We have to make sure that we have all the system to protect ourselves. So these are the systems that exhibited today by Ukrainians, by Swedes together, are something to develop, to scale up, to invest into. That is why I think this conference creates this important platform to promote that. Thank you.
We are right now finding ourselves in a very serious security situation, and I think it's important that we find ways to use this new technology, but we also have to find ways to protect ourselves from the threat vector that this new technology can represent. And this goes both for civil defense and resilience, but also for our military defense. I think this event is very timely and extremely relevant, and I think this is a good example how we in Sweden and together with our allies can work with these issues and try to find ways to harvest all the creativity that we see right now in the private sector and various countries working with this new technology. I think for us at the Ministry of Defense, it's an extremely important priority to work with innovation and new technology, but also to always continue the dialogue with the private actors, agencies, allies on how we can implement new technology, but also how we can find ways to protect ourselves against new threat vectors.
So basically, I was talking about the Swedish Armed Forces strategic drone concept, drone warfare concept, and I try to tell the audience what is happening within the Swedish Armed Forces up until 2030 when it comes to drone warfare. It has been really useful for me. I met a lot of good contacts, met a lot of interesting companies, made a lot of connections, and learned a lot. So it's important. And I think also the possibility for me to communicate what the needs for the Swedish Armed Forces are is quite important. I have learned a lot about the different capabilities that is on the market, which is important, and also got a good network when it comes to drones and drone warfare.
It was natural for me to get involved with my background from Saab, and I saw the opportunity with the test areas that we have here in Västervik, and we can provide something unique for our customers and for the community around drones, both in sea and on land and in the air. And also I think UAS Forum is an excellent opportunity for us to network and get the drone community together here in Västervik and to see what we can do jointly. And there's so much going on with the technology, and the pace is increasing rapidly. And I think we need to come together and form clusters so we can build capabilities for the future, in both for civil applications and military applications with the dual use. Well, I think we have a unique opportunity to both share the test site we have for demonstrations, and also I think Västervik is an amazing place to have this sort of conference. I mean, we have the environment here around us. It's a beautiful city to be in, actually. And also we reach 70% of the Swedish population in 4 hours. You could think that we are a bit off on the East Coast, but actually we are in the center in one way. We have gone to the next level. It's from a more national perspective to an international perspective. I think that adds a lot of opportunities. And also the delegation from Ukraine, for example, now is very obviously one step forward, how we can connect and contribute to supporting Ukraine in the war against Russia. And I hope we can see that the companies in Västervik can form a cluster around solutions for drones. I mean, we have Ankarans Motors, we have CNC with the sheet metal forming and so on, to get together and find solutions with other drone companies and get involved in the business anyhow.
So today I was presenting the topic of the drone warfare in Ukraine. Specifically, I emphasized the importance of diversification of production, but also how it is conditioned by the developments in the battle space in Ukraine. So tactical challenges that require tactical solutions, and as a result, we see this greater diversification of drone production in Ukraine. Another aspect is that besides the production of drones and their greater role in warfighting in Ukraine, there is also the question of logistics and situational awareness. So we see the development of various solutions like Delta system, that sort of stuff. I would say that we, for instance, we need to take into consideration national context, what is the strategic culture in each country, and how lessons learned in Ukraine can be adopted to the strategic culture and also to the national demands. So I think we've seen a lot of presentations from FMV, Armed Forces, and also other agencies in Sweden, and see what are the demands for the specific agencies. So we need to take into consideration Ukrainian experience, but also in terms of the demand for Sweden and Swedish agencies, while Sweden is in the peacetime and as a NATO member state.
Yeah, my name is Artem Petrenko. I'm president of strategy at Sigma Software, and Sigma Software is one of the founding partners of Defense Builder Accelerator. The first Ukrainian ecosystem and defense builder is actually established with Kyiv School of Economics, Buntar Aerospace, and one other partner that is under the NDA. Defense builder as an ecosystem plays a role in the bridge between the Ukrainian defense community and the European actors specifically. So what we wanted to aim is to show to the Swedish community over here the different technologies that are already working in Ukraine and the way how we can build the resilience both in Ukraine and in Europe together. Because as many speakers were saying, there is no need to procure right now 100,000 of different drones in the peacetime. But what is important is to build the capabilities that unites the ability to produce and also to operate the different drones. And with the Built for Ukraine program, Built with Ukraine program, we want to enable this opportunity for Sweden and for the Ukrainian companies. Right now, Sweden is super supportive of Ukraine, so there are a lot of different brigades that are equipped with Swedish technique. There are a lot of different volunteers that are helping and supporting Ukraine. But I also believe that the future is not just providing the support, but rather having the good business relations. And the technology that is available right now in Ukraine is definitely scalable in Europe. So building the business relations and keep doing the business relations between Ukraine and Sweden is super important for both countries.